who do you think would win in a full on just battle between them? The Kratos that we have now in the newest God of War and Ragnarok versus the Kratos from 1 through 3, Ghost of Sparta and everything. Who do you think would win?
Oh, probably old Kratos for sure.
I think so too.
Old
Like,
Kratos for sure.
yeah, I think
Like he's still 100% a badass. Like I said, like he has that rage moment, but old Kratos for sure is way more ruthless. Like
yeah.
100%. Like yeah, it's the anger that fueled him for the most part, and it's still anger that fuels him now.
Hmm.
And like I said, you see it because you have that special where the bar fills up and you become fucking Spartan Rage.
Yeah. Yeah, because the young Kratos, I mean, I think the young Kratos would definitely give him a serious run for his money because how more energetic, more violent he was and everything. But I think just the seniority and the strength that comes with aging that much and all the shit that he's done and gone through now, yeah, I think he would wipe the floor with him.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. It would be like with Baldur, for example, it would be a back and forth, but I think the old Kratos would just ultimately take it out because, like you saw in the first battle with Baldur, there was as soon as Kratos got wedged into the like little mountain area, and Baldur was like, "Okay, let me go see who's in your cabin." Then you saw that Spartan rage come out, and he just like busted the fucking mountain open wide, tackled Baldur with a tree, and just was beating the living crap out of him.
Okay, okay, I could see that. You know what always made me upset
What?
is the fact that Kratos lost every single one of his relics in every single game. Like he would get
Yes.
fucking cool ass fucking shit, like cool ass shit, fucking bows, fucking head of Medusa, fucking
Yeah.
all this crazy shit, and doesn't carry out through the next game. Like
I know. You have the I'm trying to remember who the guy is from Greek mythology, but he still has the shield.
the Spartan shield, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
from that one guy, yeah,
I think it was God
definitely,
of War 2 that he got that shield.
yeah, from the last Spartan.
Yeah.
Oh, sad. Oh my god. Anyways, yeah, I mean but other than that, it's just man, just imagine if he like kept some of these relics, like just imagine like if he had like Hermes boots and he was able to run faster than the map. That would be
Yeah.
crazy. Like that would be crazy. Like and then if he had a bow, like I know Atreus is basically his bow, but like if he had like a bow himself and then now he has an axe, but I mean, I guess they supplement things for other things, but I didn't feel like in the new game, I didn't feel like the things you acquired were that great.
Yeah.
Besides the blades, because in every other game you acquired new things to traverse new parts and stuff like that. I
Yeah.
guess you could say, and solve more puzzles. And it was just cool because in one of the games you even got fucking wings. Like you got fucking wings.
Oh yeah, and God of War 2.
Yeah, so it's just like like that was cool to me, like him taking these relics and using them as his own. I thought that was cool, and they didn't really do that in this new one. I thought it was but I mean the progression was good nonetheless.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head if he did acquire any like new weapons or anything like that, but it's
It was
you know,
literally just the blades.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it's just the blades. But yeah, I did like how it was more focused on like his the armor and everything, and that's
Yeah,
what
yeah,
helped
that
level up
yeah,
his
it was
strength and
they
whatnot.
changed up the progression. Like it was different progression. It was good,
Yeah.
but the old progression was you got this new thing, throw some blood souls into it and fucking power it up and do some crazy shit.
Yeah.
And and now in this one it's just like you cosmetic. They appeal to people's cosmetic side while
Hmm.
also like making it kind of good progression.
Yeah. And I'd say probably like one of the only negative aspects I would say about the God of War and tangent with that was because the whole cosmetic thing, it kind of slowed down your progression to be able to like combat and take on like the tougher enemies because like in the other God of Wars, it didn't really matter what enemy you came across, and even with the new weapons you were still able to throw up two-piece and a soda and take them out cold. But I noticed in this newest God of War was that it was kind of like other open world games or like Dark Souls series, for example, where you get some nasty ass side boss that's like pretty early in the game that you really don't want to take on at that early stage, but you have to kind of move forward, farm, and then go back to. That's what I kept on coming across with the God of War, is that I kept on coming across a lot of enemies that were just way too OP for me. So I had to go through a lot of grinding, finding all the extra armors, the legendary armors, to upgrade my strength and everything like that. Like it took a lot longer for me to be able to catch up and be on par with some of these guys. Because I remember with the God of War where it has like the little portal things, you got to stick your arm through to collect for the relic items in God of War. Then you get like the Fenrir's, the wolf things that come out of it, those other like soldier dudes that has the giant axe or the shield and sword or the malice. It was so much more difficult to be able to combat them. Like you could try to dodge as much as you want, but it was just like one shot from them and it'd take out almost all my health. And that's why too, I was like kind of struggling with fighting Baldur at first too, because it was seeming like I can only do so much damage, but it was so quick to take out my health. But the the axe too, though, the axe was badass. I really liked it. And then like when they finally introduced the blades wasn't actually up to par with the axe itself. So you had to actually upgrade the axe more, or the blades more, to be able to catch up with the axe.
Oh yeah, that I thought that was pretty good too, because I mean the blades were definitely powerful.
Yeah.
Because again, you can't just give someone a weapon midway through the game and not have it be somewhat decent, but you
Yeah.
definitely had to still upgrade it like right away, and preferably you could if you were like me and I didn't really upgrade the axe at all. I just kind of like stood in the back and swung it at people, to be honest, like
Yeah, what I was doing with the God of War, because I did this with the Assassin's Creed games too when I started to get the platinums for those. But what I would do with the God of War is that I would slowly progress through the actual campaign, but I would kind of like stall in between certain sections just to like really farm through and get as much stuff. So I was able to upgrade the axe and get some pretty nasty armors pretty early on. I'd say more so like going in the middle of the game, but that was something that especially helped me because I was constantly having that issue, like trying to get used to the new mechanics, the new camera angle, instead of the top down view and just the insane flurries and fucking monstrous combos you could dish out. You had to be a lot more strategic with how you handled situations in this one. And so that was a definite learning curve for me.
Oh yeah, 100%. Because before again, when you got into fights, you could see almost the entire arena. You could see every enemy that is around you. Now you're stuck looking at the enemies in front of you while there's still enemies behind you. And yes, for the most part, once you learn the enemies, like you understand their attack patterns and you understand their attacks. But right when you encounter some of these mobs, you could think an enemy is gonna do like a quick attack, but it's a long
Yeah.
wind up, and then you dodge a little too early and stuff like that. And it's
Yeah.
just it was good. It was a good mix up, and I think they did well with it. They could have definitely have fumbled with the gameplay, but I think they did great.
Yeah. Yeah, and so I think to go ahead and touch more on like the newest God of War, like some of the more details, like I have you seen any of the new enemies that are being introduced into Ragnarok? No.
No, I'm gonna go into that game blind, just like I went into this one blind.
Oh, okay. So they definitely look like they have a more variety of enemies. Because like in Norse mythology, you have the half man, half horse. Then there are these. I won't spoil too much for you. But they had a pretty good diversity of monsters, because like that was something that we talked about with Resident Evil 8. I think, yeah, with Resident Evil 8, is that there wasn't such a huge diversity of enemies.
And
But
in all honesty, in God of War, there also wasn't such a high diversity of enemies
yeah,
either. But again, you're so caught up in the story and how new things are and how things look, that that doesn't even like that's not even a problem at that point, because
yeah.
as you progress to, the enemies also, I guess, get stronger, and then their attacks kind of change a little bit more too.
Yeah, and that's why I like the newest God of War, because yeah, there wasn't too many. They had like slight variations of some of the enemies. I like the fact that they brought in dragons. Like that was part of
Oh yeah, that
the side
yeah,
farmings that
that
you got
was
to free
super
the
cool.
dragons.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
that was
super cool.
badass. That was badass. Sometimes it was a bitch though, just to be able to like break the chains on him and do that little
Hmm.
extra stuff. It
Yeah.
was difficult, but it was pretty badass. And the perks and some of the armor that they dropped, that now the armor that the dragons dropped, that gave me such a boost that like some of the Valkyries, for example, that I was seriously struggling with. Once I got through a couple dragons and I got some of their perks, it made it so much easier to get through the Valkyries because I hated the Valkyries with a passion. I almost
Yeah.
had to start the game all over again because the game glitched and I couldn't get to the last Valkyrie.
Oh no, how'd you get there?
I actually found out. So one of the last Valkyries is actually at the very beginning. You know how behind Kratos
Oh
and
yeah,
Atreus'
yeah,
cabin?
I do.
Yeah.
I
So
remember.
yeah, so the way that you like the vines that you burned off and everything, they weren't burning off for me. So I had no way to climb up the original point in order to fight the Valkyrie. But then I figured out that I kind of like went ahead more, and then I came across like a little like route from a previous part of the game that you had to go through, and then I was able to get to the Valkyrie. But like for a good solid 30 minutes, I was trying to figure out how to get to her, and I almost, even though I was like 97% done with the game, had almost all of the relics, and there's well over 100 relics and things that you have to find on there. I almost had to start the game over entirely just to fight that one Valkyrie.
Damn, that would have sucked. That's the only problem that I think have with trophy hunting, or any trophy hunter has,
Yeah.
is this trophy gonna glitch out because some random ass bug in the game?
Yeah. That's the trouble that I was having. I remember I don't know if you remember me talking about We Happy Few.
Oh, that was
Yeah. Bro, it took me good like 3 months just and like three different new campaigns just to be able to get the platinum for that one because it was such a buggy game. It was constantly crashing. Some of the trophies were bugged. Like I remember with the chick that you play on We Happy Few, there was I had to like knock out like 10, 20 people with the atomizer perfume spray. And the resources for them are so fucking limited that I was spending hours a day just scouring, trying to find all these different resources. And but yeah, that game was a struggle with all the issues that I had. But yeah, with God of War, it was just that only part that I had an issue like during the trophy hunting. But yeah, it was definitely it gave me doing the trophy hunting for the God of War, it gave me a lot of the same vibes as like Assassin's Creed and how open world it is and the like the little secret tasks or secret routes, rendezvous points that you had to find in order to be able to get to those relics, to those additional items and everything. It mirrored a lot of the same things with the God of War, and I like that. Just not the part that is so time consuming.
yeah. Uh, like with any game though, the more hours they could get you to play it, the better.